Hello everyone, and welcome to my EastEnders Media News channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Fans have noticed a problem for genuine killer Lynda Carter, despite the fact that EastEnders villain Dean Wicks was arrested on Thursday for the murder of Keanu Taylor. Since Keanu's body was discovered last week, Sharon Watts has only now found herself being questioned by the authorities regarding her late fiancé's passing. Fans may remember that Lynda killed Keanu over Christmas by using a meat thermometer in an attempt to shield Sharon. The crime and their respective roles in it were subsequently covered up by the six, which were Sharon, Lynda, Suki Panesar, Stacey Slater, Kathy Beale, and Denise Fox. While Keanu's body was buried beneath the cafe's floor, the women reported to the police that Keanu had attacked Nish Panesar and was running away. His body was discovered at the cafe last week, exposing this falsehood and his actual fate. Prior to the six devising a crafty scheme to implicate Dean, Sharon was the prime suspect. As viewers of the soap opera will remember, Dean, the rapist, has been ruining Lynda's life ever since he returned to the show last year. Most recently, he has been interfering with his daughter Jade's medication, who recently had a life-saving lung transplant surgery while battling cystic fibrosis, in an attempt to prevent her from moving to Pakistan with her mother Shabnam. When Stacey discovered that Dean intended to take Jade and leave Walford right away, she went to his apartment carrying the murder weapon, which she had successfully hidden and which he had touched without realizing, leaving his DNA all over the thermometer. But the sixth scheme was nearly foiled when Lynda, desiring to turn herself in, went to the police station in spite of being told not to. When the police investigated Dean's apartment after she gave a devastating witness testimony about the terrible rapist, they discovered the murder weapon. It appeared as though Lynda was about to turn herself in. Later, the six supported an unaware Dean who was detained in Walford in front of his bewildered daughter. Later, when the police presented all the evidence against him, Dean maintained that he was innocent and Lynda was putting him through this. While it appears that the sixth scheme is working at the moment and Dean may face charges for Keanu's death, a few viewers brought up a possible problem. Fans will remember that Lynda was horrified to discover her own ignorant mother, Elaine Peacock, using the murder weapon, a meat thermometer, for their roast lamb meal during Easter. Elaine disclosed that she had cleaned it thoroughly before using it for their dinner after finding it beneath Lynda's bed. Using Twitter and, more recently, X, viewers brought attention to the possibility that Elaine's DNA was present on the murder weapon, casting doubt on their scheme to frame Dean and possibly leading to Elaine's arrest or, worse, her imprisonment. One small detail that's been overlooked is that Elaine used that meat thermometer at her Easter dinner, which has erased any connection to the murder, one individual commented. Consequently, Elaine might be held accountable if her DNA is found on it or if someone notices that it's missing. The EastEnders, on BBC One. Another soap opera viewer commented elsewhere, saying, "The murder weapon is one thing that baffles me. Elaine used it for her Easter dinner and cleaned it afterward, so it's likely that her DNA is also on it." The EastEnders, on BBC One. Fans of EastEnders are certain they've discovered a crucial evidence from the show that establishes the six's plan to frame Dean Wicks. Since his initial appearance in the soap opera some years ago, Dean has been an unlikable character. Nevertheless, his return to Walford and his incitement of Lynda Carter only served to exacerbate the situation. The six made the unexpected decision to frame Dean Wicks for what he had done earlier this week, as Keanu Taylor's body was being found. Fans of the six, however, have seen a devious hint dropped by the show's executives months before, proving that Dean Wicks would always be set up for Lynda and Keanu's Christmastime incident. One Reddit user proposed that management had planned to take the six storyline in a different direction following Keanu's shocking murder because of an apparently throwaway scene from a few months prior, which occurred well before Keanu was even killed. One viewer commented, saying, "Until this current thing with the six framing Dean for Keanu's murder, I had completely forgotten about their small feud from last year." Although EastEnders writing is frequently awkward and obvious these days, it's actually pretty cool how they set things up in 2023 and don't finish it until mid-2024. Back then, it would have appeared insignificant, but now it's a crucial plot point. I think the fact Keanu stood up for Linda when she confronted Dean over Ollie and the Santa pic, which is how Jade found out he's a rapist and then moved away in disgust initially, will be presented as his motive for holding a grudge, added another. When all the other circumstantial evidence is taken into account, the police won't find it unreasonable to kill the man who outed him as a rapist if they discover that he's willfully endangering the life of his own daughter in order to get his own way. And Dean is a mouthy prick who would rile up even God, so the whole fight got out of hand thing would hold water. While the case isn't the strongest in the world, it isn't nearly as weak as I initially believed several months ago when people were certain Dean would be set up. In a Reddit conversation over the soap opera, a third person said, yes, yes, yes. It's not a Dean versus Keanu situation. Anyhow, everyone is against Dean. Dean is being exposed to Jade by Keanu. That's the important part. Perhaps last year, on the BBC soap opera EastEnders, the villain Dean Wickstone was hinted at, 14 months before he was set up for Keanu Taylor's murder. This week, Dean was seen adamantly defending his innocence following the sixth setup over Keanu's demise. Although scenes on the soap opera have strongly suggested that he will be set up for the murder and that Keanu's real killer, Linda Carter, will escape punishment, his future on the show is still uncertain. The twist, in which the villain Dean was eventually held accountable for his actions, divided viewers. Some did not think it was justice done. After years of him raping her and getting away with it, many fans also believed that Linda was finally gaining justice by holding him accountable for her crime. Since his return to Linda last autumn, he has been nothing but terrible, even if his homecoming had been hinted at in February 2023. The plot that would see the six band together to take down Dean may have been hinted at in that same episode, which also revealed Dean's death. Linda was saddened to learn that Dean might be coming back in February of last year, and she was afraid that she would have to face her rapist again. Kathy Beale stood by Linda and warned her that Dean would have to face them all if he came after her. In an episode featuring all of the six, she pledged that she and Linda's friends would unite behind her and construct a wall of defense against Dean. They have now acted in concert to accuse Dean of having committed a crime that Linda had concealed on Christmas Day. Given the events of Christmas Day, where the ladies made a deal to conceal what had happened to Keanu, the fact that Kathy promised Linda they would stand by her side and stop Dean together is extremely important. They have now pushed things even further, and Kathy has fulfilled her promise to bring Dean to justice by framing him in order to save Linda and put an end to his unending suffering. Although it hasn't been verified, this could be Dean's means of leaving the program and preventing Linda from being revealed. Perhaps this is how Dean will leave the program because he has gotten away with much too much on it over the last few weeks, months, or even years.